Hello everyone, my name is Serafi and I'm happy to meet you all. And it is Leaks Day, my dudes. I have not looked at anything. I literally just got out of bed and turned my phone off, came to my desk, opened Duel Links Meta right before I clicked record. I don't know anything that's in here, so let's go ahead and see what's going on. No way! Borrelsword slash? Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Alright. Well then, there's a bundle deal. Okay, alright, let's look at the bundle first. Master Flare Hyperion is limited to 1 as a bundle. Okay. Oh, and Trap Tricks or Fleesia. That's kind of sad. But okay. Alright, so then these are 2 cards that I was expecting to come to the game. I figured they would be the box, but okay, fine. As if they're bundles, that's fine. Master Flare Hyperion, Synchro level 10, requires 1 tuner plus 1 or more non-tuner fairy monsters. You can send 1 the Ancient monster or 1 monster that mentions the Sanctuary in the Sky from your hand, deck, or extract to the graveyard. Until the end phase, this card's name becomes the sent monster's original name, and replace this effect with that monster's original effects. When your opponent activates a card or effect, as a quick effect, you can banish 1 fairy monster from your hand or graveyard, then target 1 card on the field and banish it. You can only use each effect once per turn. Okay. So, Hyperion is a very good card. It allows you to basically interrupt your opponent, kind of similarly to Dragon Berserker the Tinny, which I guess is why they've chosen to limit 1 it, because it's very similar, even though the real reason to limit Draco Berserker is so that you don't play it alongside Crystal Wing. Hyperion is not a generic card. It requires a non-tuner fairy monster, and it is level 10. So this card is nowhere near as generic as Draco Berserker the Tinny, but I can see why they don't want us to play both of them at the same deck. It does let you banish any card as opposed to the monster that activates its effects. But you do have to banish a fairy monster from your hand or graveyard to use the effect. That's pretty good. I like the effect, and then of course you can make it have the effects of any other monster in your deck as long as they're an agent monster or a monster that mentions the Sanctuary in the Sky. So this is cool. This card's going to see a ton of play in fairies. The fairy skill is pretty good, so yeah. Alright, and then we have Trap Tricks or Fleesia. I did a whole video on this. 2 level 4s, this card is unaffected by traps while it has Exceeds material. Trap Tricks monsters you control except Trap Tricks or Fleesia cannot be destroyed by battle or card effects. Your opponent cannot target Trap Tricks monsters you control except Rafflesia with card effects. Once per turn during either player's turn, you can detach 1 material from this card, send 1 whole normal trap that meets its activation conditions from your deck to the graveyard, and this effect becomes that trap card's activated effect when it is activated. Yeah, sure. This card's insane. You can use it to trigger your Bottomless Trap Hole from your deck. You can use it to trigger your Trap Tricks Trap Hole Nightmare from your deck. It's a great card. It basically gives you 4 back row, which is insane. And it has 2,500 defense points, so you just kind of sit on it. It's not going to win the game most of the time because it has no attack points, but it will definitely be an amazing turn 1, which is why it's limited to 1, and that's fine. Alright. Borrelsword Slash. Okay, let's take a look here. We got Cyber Sage! This card's like brand new. This card's like from like, I don't know, 2 years ago? When did Cyber Sage come out? Hold on. I'm sorry, I'm tired. In the OCG, Cyber Sage came out in Cyberstorm Access in January of 2023. January of 2023. This card's barely a year old. That's insane. Okay. Level 1 Dark Ritual Tuner. I haven't even read this card. I don't know what this card does. You can ritual summon this card with Sign Up Ritual. During your main phase, you can fusion summon one fusion monster from your extract by banishing materials listed on it from your field or graveyard, including a Cybers monster. If this card is sent to the graveyard as synchro material, you can target one Cybers monster or one ritual spell in your graveyard and add it to your hand. Oh! It is a ritual monster that is a tuner that allows you to fusion summon. This is the ultimate Dark Fluid card. This is insane. It counts itself in the graveyard because it's a ritual monster. It fuses for you so that you can get your Clock Dragon out. And then you can send it to the graveyard as synchro material for your Quantum Dragon, and then you just make Dark Fluid. That is absolutely absurd. Oh, that card is crazy good. You can search this card off of Witch, so you don't need more than one copy of it, which is good for us because it's the UR. This is definitely worth a UR slot. A ritual monster that is a tuner that fuses for you. Okay, alright, I'm in. Playmaker's deck is going to be really good. The Agent of Life Neptune. Level 1 Light Fairy Monster. You can discard this card, special summon one the Agent monster from your hand or graveyard, except the Agent of Life Neptune. But it cannot be attributed until the end of your opponent's turn. Okay, that's cool. So you can special summon this card, and it's immune to Kaijuing, which is really interesting. It can't be attributed by either player. If the Sanctuary in the Sky is on the field or in the graveyard, you can special summon one Hyperion monster instead. If this card is banished, you can add one the Agent, Sanctuary in the Sky from your deck to your hand. You can only use each effect once per turn. Okay. This is a good card. Probably a safe 3 of in the Agent decks, because it lets you basically just special summon your monsters from the graveyard for free. It does have anti-synergy with the Successor Soul. And Successor Soul is a card that might see play in Agents because they play 3 copies of Mythical Shine Ball, and it's just good removal. I don't think that matters too much, though, so that's cool. Charles is an SR? What? How is Charles an SR? This card's nuts. Okay, this box is crazy. I'm sorry, chat. I'm sorry. Okay. Neptune will be a 3 of. That's fine. Double Disruptor Dragon. We kind of knew this card was coming because of the skill. Level 8, 2,500 attack, 1,500 defense, which means that it has 4,000 combined attack and defense. It's a Dark Dragon monster, so you can normal summon it without tributing with the Varus skill. You can tribute this card, target 2 rocket monsters in your graveyard with different names, special summon them in defense position. You can banish this card from your graveyard to add one rapid trigger or one heavy interlock from your deck or graveyard to your hand. Cool. Okay, so this is basically, they're not going to give us pre-preparation of rights. I don't know why. But this is basically pre-preparation of rights for rockets. Because the skill allows you to dump a rocket from your hand and a rocket from your graveyard to draw your Double Disruptor Dragon, and then your Double Disruptor Dragon will banish those, will special summon those 2 rockets, which are now material for your heavy interlock, and then you just need to have Borrelsword Riot Dragon in your hand. I am down for a Borrelsword Riot Dragon deck. That's cool. This card will be good in it. Since you can search it with the skill, this card's a one-off. Traptrix Vermelio, I did call this was going to be a UR. Level 4 Insect Monster. This card is unaffected by the effects of whole normal trap cards. When this card is normal summon, you can add one whole normal trap card from your deck to your hand. If this card is special summon, target one spell or trap your opponent controls and destroy it. Both those effects are insane. This card is a 3 of. Photon Sanctuary. Oh, cool. Yeah, I guess this card's been in a box for a while. This is a weird box to print it in, but whatever. Special summon 2 Photon tokens in defense position. These tokens cannot attack or be used as synchro material. You cannot special summon other monsters that turn you activate this card except for light monsters. So this card was printed back when Photon was a thing, which they thought, okay, well, it can't exceed summon because they're tokens, and we specifically say it can't be used as synchro material. So basically, the only thing that you could use this for is to tribute the 2 tokens for your Galaxy Eyes Photon Dragon. They were like, ah, this is brilliant. And then Link monsters became a thing. So Photon's Extra would become infinitely more powerful because you could basically use it to immediately summon your Galaxy Eye Soulflare Dragon. This card is really good in Galaxy Eyes. I don't know how good it is with the new skill. I don't think I've seen too many people play it, but probably that's because too many people don't have it. I'm going to say this is at least a 1 of, if not a 2 of. No! Lone Fire Blossom? Lone Fire Blossom? This is out of nowhere. Okay, yes, it is the plant box. But, wow! I never thought this card would come to Duel Links at all. This card's crazy good. Okay. This is not worth a UR slot. This is worth the special bundle set slot. And the fact that it's not limited to 1, and it's not in the bundle is crazy. You should get this at 3. I don't care what deck you play it in. You can play it in anything. 3 of. Solid 3 of. Lone Fire Blossom. Level 3. Once per turn, you contribute 1 plant monster to special summon a plant monster from your deck. This is a soft once per turn. So if you tribute a monster to special summon another Lone Fire Blossom, that Lone Fire Blossom can also activate its effects. You will deck thin, you will put a ton of monsters in your graveyard, and you can play any plant, doesn't matter how high of a level it is. You can use it to summon Mardell, which is a generator monster that's level 9. You can use it to summon your high-level Sylvan monsters. So if you like playing Sylvans, Lone Fire is the support you've been waiting for. You can use it to summon the level 6 Arrow Mage card that has Piercing and gains 1,000 attack points. Whatever you want to do. This is your plant support that we have been waiting for. Lone Fire Blossom is like one of the best plant cards in the game, and there are a lot of really good plant cards in this game. So yeah, definitely get this card. In for Noble Knight Renaud. We don't have Isolde. Typically, people play Isolde to search this card, but we don't have Isolde, so that's probably a 3 of then. Let me see what this card does. If you control a Fire Warrior monster, you can special summon this card from your hand. If summoned this way, this card is treated as a tuner. Okay, so this is one of the main ways that you can make Charles. You can only special summon In for Noble Knight Renaud once per turn this way. If this card is special summon, you can target one of your Fire Warrior monsters or one of your equipped cards that is banished or in your graveyard, add it to your hand. Okay, so this is a extender that also gives you more extension. That is a very good effect. I imagine it's probably searchable. You do want Charles. I don't know enough about the In for Noble Knight list to know how much space it has. Because you're going to want 2 other level 4s along with this card in your hand. And then it also equips spells. The In for Noble Knight deck is going to be questionable in Duel Links because you can't run too much back row because you need monsters and you need equip spells. This is definitely in the deck. I don't know how many copies you would play. Oh, Heritage of the Chalice. Cool. Add 1 Noble Knight monster or 1 Noble Arms card from your deck or graveyard to your hand. If your Noble Knight's monster equipped with Noble Arms equipped spell is destroyed in battle and sent to the graveyard while this card is in the graveyard, you can add this card to your hand. Oh yeah, so this card just lets you search any In for Noble Knight that you want, or draw a Noble Arms spell card, and it can search from either the deck or the graveyard. So yeah, this is probably one of the best search cards in the game in terms of like what it can do for you, because it's recyclable and it searches everywhere and it also searches multiple things. But the problem is it's like it searches for a bad archetype basically. This does potentially mean that we don't have to run Reinforcement of the Army, which is cool. So we could potentially use a different level Limit 1 card. I don't know what you would choose. But, yeah, if you play... I mean, this has got to be a 3 of. So, yeah, sadly, Noble Knight's probably going to be expensive then. Oh... Well, they certainly picked a good box art card. Borrelsword Dragon. It's funny, I was actually having a conversation with people on the guild like a couple days ago, and someone said that because the skill link-locked Varus, that Borrelsword was probably going to be in the box. And I said, no, There's no way Borrelsword is going to be in the box. Borrelsword could sell a box all on its own. They don't need Riot Dragon. The fact that Riot Dragon is in the box as well probably means that it's going to be Borrelguard Dragon. And that would be fine. Borrelguard plus Borreload would be fine with their own skill. But no, it is Borrelsword. That means this is a box you want to go into. I'm sorry if you were trying to save your gems. Borrelsword Dragon is going to be a very powerful card in Duel Links, probably for the entirety of Duel Links. This is a Link 4 that requires at least 3 effect monsters, cannot be destroyed by battle. That is probably the weakest of the Borrel protection effects, but it's fine because the rest of the card is crazy. Once per turn, as a quick effect, you can target one attack position monster and change it to defense position. Also, this card can make a second attack during each battle phase this turn. Your opponent can activate cards or effects in response to this effect's activation. Okay, so obviously being able to switch one of your opponent's monsters into defense position is an okay effect. But primarily you're going to use this on your own rockets, then your Borrelsword gets double attacks, and your rocket effects trigger so that you can destroy cards or deal 2,000 damage to your opponent or whatever you want to do. Once per turn, when this card declares an attack on a face-up monster, you can activate this effect until the end of this turn. This card gains attack equal to half that monster's current attack, and if it does, that monster's current attack is halved. Whew. Okay, so let's say that your opponent has Blue Eyes Alternative White Dragon and Blue Eyes White Dragon on their field. Okay, you activate your effect, you switch one of your monsters into defense position, you get 2 attacks. Attacking in 1, you gain 1,500 attack points for the rest of the turn, the opponent's monster loses 1,500 attack points, you deal 4,000, or 3,000. Then you crash into the second one, and you have 4,500 attack points, they take another 1,500, and you win the game. So that is... That is Borrelword in a Borrelsword in a nutshell. It does 3,000 damage right away, and then it can do extra damage if your opponent has another attack position monster, which in a game with 4,000 life points is insane. This card will just kill people, and that is fantastic. It is a Link 4, which is fair. In this game, a Link 4 is difficult to make. If we make a Link 4, we should kill people. So, this is going to be one of in basically any deck that can make multiple monsters and is also just not skill locked. So you can't play this in Trap Tricks, obviously. But if you play like a generic deck and you can make multiple monsters, you wouldn't play this in Muskets because you don't have a ton of monsters in Muskets. But you would play this in a deck like Utopia, probably. Yeah, I could see it in Utopia. I could see it in a couple of other decks where you just have a ton of monsters. You don't necessarily lock yourself into Xyz or Synchro, and you just make this card as a winner on going second. You could probably make this in Suships. I don't think Suships lock themselves into Xyz summoning, and then you just Shari Red into the extra monster zone. Uni special summon a monster from the hand. Then that monster comes out, and then you can just normal summon the third monster, and then you have 4 monsters, and one of them is an effect monster. Yeah. So as long as you have, like, Shari Red, Uni, and another Shari card, then you can just immediately go into Borrelsword with a card draw. Sweet. Okay. The Sacred Waters in the Sky. Yeah, this was definitely coming. Yeah, this is a fine card. This is worth the SR slot. Activate 1, the Sanctuary in the Sky directly from your deck, or add 1 monster that mentions the Sanctuary in the Sky from your deck to your hand. Then if the Sanctuary in the Sky is on the field or in the graveyard, you can gain 500 life points for each Hyperion and agent monster you control. If your monster that dimensions the Sanctuary in the Sky would be destroyed by battle, you can banish this card from your graveyard instead. Okay, so this is why the skill puts the Sanctuary in the Sky in your deck. That's fine. The Sacred Waters in the Sky, you play this at 3, you don't play any copies of the Sanctuary in the Sky, and then you just keep using the skill to add more copies of the Sanctuary in the Sky to your deck, and then you can activate them directly from your deck with the Sacred Waters in the Sky. That's fantastic. The Sanctuary in the Sky is a bad card, so not having to play the card at all makes the skill insane. Yeah, this card's great. Sunvine Sowing. Okay, I was not sure if this card would come right away or not, so that's fantastic. Special summon 1 Sunseed monster from your deck, and if you do, take 500 damage. Cool. That's really, really good. Now, it's important to note that this card works really well with the new card Sun Avalon Dryas. So Sun Avalon Dryas, when it's link summoned using Sunseed Genus Loci as material, you can search a Sunvine spell card, so you're going to search your Sowing, and it also activates whenever you take effect damage. So you activate Sunvine Sowing, you take 500 damage, and then Sun Avalanche Dryas triggers. You get your life points back, and then you also get to special summon a monster from your extra deck. So being able to damage yourself on your turn is very crucial to the Sun Avalon strategy, which is why Sunvine Sowing is so powerful. If you control no Sun Avalon Link monsters, you can only special summon Sunseed Genus Loci with this effect, which you're not going to do. You're going to have a Link monster. For the rest of the turn after this card resolves, you cannot special summon monsters from the extra deck except plant monsters, and if a plant Link monster you control will be destroyed with battle or an opponent's card effect, you can banish this card from a graveyard instead. Okay, so Sowing is very important to protect your tree, because if your tree gets destroyed, then your Thrasher gets destroyed and your entire board breaks apart. So Sowing protects you one time, which is nice, as long as your opponent doesn't DD Crow it, which, by the way, you should definitely be playing DD Crow right now, because if Sun Avalon becomes a dangerous deck, then DD Crow will solve all of your problems. Yeah, this is a solid option. Play it at 1 because it searches it off the Dryas. Okay, Majesty Hyperion, another card that we were expecting to come. You can special summon this card from your hand or graveyard by banishing the agent monster from your hand, field, or graveyard. You can only special summon Majesty Hyperion once per turn this way. All battle damage you take from battles involving your fairy monsters is also inflicted to your opponent. Okay, so that's really funny. So how this works with Majesty Hyperion, if you have the Sanctuary in the Sky on the field, then you can attack with your Mystical Shine Balls into a monster that has like 2,000 attack points. You take no damage, your opponent takes 1,500 damage over and over and over again. So Majesty Hyperion is just like a way that you can mess with people really funny. Once per turn, you can banish one fairy monster from your hand or graveyard, then target one card in either graveyard and banish it. If the Sanctuary in the Sky is on the field, you can use this effect up to twice per turn. So yeah. Majesty Hyperion, really easy card to summon, really good card overall. I can't remember. I think that the skill lets you search Hyperion monsters. If the skill lets you search Hyperion monsters, this is probably a 2 of. Why is it dark? That's weird. Why is this card dark? That doesn't make any sense. I don't know the lore behind the agents, but that's dumb. This is like one of the archangels. Okay, anyway, that's fine. Court of Cards. That's a random card to be added. Didn't we already have this? Oh, it was in a selection box. Okay. If you control no monsters or only control Queen's Knight, King's Knight, or Jack's Knight, you can special summon one Queen's Knight, King's Knight, or Jack's Knight from your hand or graveyard. You can banish up to one of each Queen's Knight, King's Knight, Jack's Knight from your hand or graveyard and draw the same number of cards you banished. You can only use one Court of Cards effect per turn, only once that turn. So Court of Cards, primarily the benefit of this card is that it lets you draw 3 cards after you've tributed all 3 of your monsters to summon Slifer the Sky Dragon, which is very important because you will be out of cards and Slifer the Sky Dragon needs you to have cards in your hand. So if you want to play the Thunder Force Attack Slifer the Sky Dragon Poker Knights deck, this is a good card to have, but you shouldn't play that deck because it's bad. Borrelsword Riot Dragon. Let's go, chat. You can ritual summon this card with Heavy Interlock. When your opponent special summons a monster as a quick effect, you can negate that summon, and if you do destroy that monster, then destroy this card or one rocket you control. Okay, so Riot Dragon is basically Solemn Judgment. It allows you to prevent a special summoning from happening. You guys know kind of how negating summonings works because we have Tech Genus Halberd Cannon in the meta right now, so you guys have experienced what a negated summon is like. It is the card goes to the graveyard, the card is not treated as having been successfully summoned. You can't special summon it. It doesn't have any effects on the field. Really strong. So it does require that you destroy a monster after the effect is resolved. So you have to pop Riot Dragon, or if you have a rocket, then the rocket has to be destroyed. And it's important to note that this is not a Link monster targeting a rocket effect, so while you will get the special summon effect at the end of the turn, you will not get like the blow the field up effect of like one of your monsters. If this card is in your graveyard, you can target one Boral or Rocket monster in your graveyard, destroy one card you control or in your hand, and if you do, add that target to your hand. You can only use this effect once per turn. So Riot Dragon is really interesting because it allows you to recycle your rockets, but you have to destroy cards to do so. It does let you destroy cards in your hand, which means that you can use this with Yubel if you really want to, which is funny. If we had Foolish Burial, I would almost recommend it. If you have Foolish Burial, you can Foolish Burial, Borrelsword Riot Dragon, and then just like destroy your Yubel cards, and that's really good. But fine. Um, it lets you basically like pop your rockets so that they'll have effects during the end phase, and then you can like return this card to your hand. Basically, Borrelsword Riot Dragon is like the support for rockets to like destroy their cards that they needed the whole time. So this is a deck that's going to feel a lot more like rockets. You're going to be destroying your cards. You're going to be targeting them with link monsters. You're going to be like blowing your opponent's field up with Shell Rocket. You're going to be sending cards to the graveyard with Magma Rocket. There's not going to be nearly as much synchro summoning happening, which means that Rocket Tracer is not going to be as important. Maybe you don't even run Rocket Tracer. This is cool. This is a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to this. This is a good card. Underclock Taker. This was also in a selection box. 2 effect monsters. Once per turn, you can target 1 face-up monster this card points to, and 1 face-up monster your opponent controls. The opponent's monster loses attack equal to the attack target of this card until the end of the turn. That's an okay effect. Basically, if you want to link up into a powerful monster like Borrelsword, you can weaken one of your opponent's monsters on the way with your Link 2, which is fine. Traptrix Mantis. Oh, good. This card is coming. I think that I saw a leak where this card was not included, and I was very upset. This is a 3 of. When this monster is normal summon, you can add 1 Traptrix monster from your deck to your hand, unaffected by the effects of whole normal trap cards. Once per turn, as a quick effect, you can set 1 spell or trap you control. Target 1 set spell or trap you control and return it to the hand, then you can set 1 spell or trap from your hand. So this card lets you dodge MST, which is really good, and it lets you search. So, yes, 3 of, very good card. Sudden Avalon, Dryan Trentier. Wait. Dryadome is a neutral rarity card? How is this card neutral rarity? I guess they're saying that his ace is going to be Dryan Trentier? But he didn't use Dryan Trentier in his first duel. That's dumb. I get that like this is like the most important card and the skill is going to let us end on this card. That doesn't make it his ace. That's okay, whatever. Sun Avalon, Dryan Trentier, 2 link monsters. It's link 4. If this card is link summon, you can add 1 Sun Avalon spell or trap from your deck to your hand, which will be your Sun Avalon Bloom. This card cannot be destroyed by your opponent's card effects, cannot be targeted for attacks, but does not prevent your opponent from attacking you directly. Once per turn, you contribute 1 link monster this card points to, destroy any number of cards your opponent controls up to that monster's link rating. So that's cool. You can contribute a monster to pop like 2 or 3 cards that your opponent controls. This card does not have the heal effect. If you get attacked directly, you just get attacked directly. But it has other really good effects, and you can basically use it to win the game. This is a 1 of. Infernoble Knight Emperor Charles. This is also a 1 of. Level 9 Warrior Synchro, 1 tuner plus 1 or more non-tuners. If an equipped card becomes equipped to a monster on the field, even during the damage step, you can destroy 1 card on the field. That is crazy. So there are cards, there are equipped cards that you can activate during the damage step. Like, for example, Infernoble Knight Roland, which gives a monster 500 attack points, which is why you can activate it during the damage step. But being able to destroy a card during the damage step is nuts. That is rare. That is extremely rare. So, like, let's say that your opponent attacks you, right? And you don't want to cause a replay of battle. Like, this is why this is not a thing. When a card is destroyed on the field, that almost always causes a replay of attacks because it happens during the declare attacker step. So you want to be able to redirect your attacks. You want to be able to choose new attack targets based on the new field status. Like, for example, if my opponent had Traptrix Adipus, which gives all of their Traptrix monsters 1,000 attack points, and I destroyed Traptrix Adipus during the damage step with one of the other monsters attacked, that would change the entire course of the battle. That is not normally allowed. It's insane. So for you to be able to destroy cards during the damage step, that is unheard of. I don't think that exists in Duel Links at all at the moment. that is really, really good effect. Okay, you can destroy 1 card on the field, and then during the end phase, you can equip 1. Oh, it's a card, not even a monster. So you can like pop field spells that give monsters attack points. You could pop an equip spell that's giving your opponent's monster attack points. You could again, you could completely change the outcome of the battle, or you could just stop the battle. You can just stop the monster that's attacking you from you can destroy that card. But more often than not, you're going to be like ruining people's lives. It's really good. You can only use each effect of Infernoble Knight Emperor Charles once per turn. During the end phase, you can equip one equip spell from this card from your hand or deck to the graveyard. Then you equip one Fire Warrior monster from your deck to this card as an equip spell that gives it 500 attack points. Okay, so Charles automatically equips himself, which means that you can get like pops out, and then his equip, like the Infernal Knight monsters have effects when they are equipped to other monsters. So this is really good. This is a really good benefit to you to equip a monster from your deck. The problem with Infernobles is that you're not going to have room on the board because you only have 3 equipped spell slots. We'll see. I don't particularly expect this deck will be good, but it will be a lot of fun. Charles is a winner. El Shadal Shekinaga. Okay, I mean, this card is a card that we needed. I don't know why it's in this box, but whatever. Okay, should all players stay losing, you are now taxed even further to come into another box. Shadal monster plus an earth monster. This makes super polymerization much better in Shadal's. Must first be fusion summoned. When a special summon monster activates its effects while you have a Shadal card in your hand, as a quick effect, you can negate the activation, destroy the card, and then send one Shadal card from your hand to the graveyard. Okay, so this card is very similar to Krista. Krista could negate special summons. This card can negate special summon monster effects. That's insane. This is a really good card. You can only use this effect of El Shadal Shekinaga once per turn. If this card is sent to the graveyard, you can target one Shadal spell or trap in your graveyard and add it to your hand. I do not know what Earth monster you are going to play in Shadal's that would allow you to make this card, but you will play something, and this card will be insane. This probably going to be one of your best Shadal fusion targets. So, Shadal Shekinaga, probably a 2 of in Shadal's. Bengal Lancer the Resurgent. This is a really good card. Link 4, 2,500 attack points, requires 2 or more plant monsters. During the main phase, as a quick effect, you can take target one effect monster your opponent controls, take damage equal to its attack points, and if you did take damage, return it to the hand. Oh, that's not been halved. That's sad. If this card is in your graveyard, you can banish 2 or more link monsters from your graveyard whose combined link ratings exactly equal 4. Special summon this card, but banish it when it leaves the field. You can only use 1 Bengal Lancer to the Resurgent effect per turn, only once that turn. This is a leak, right? No, this has been revealed. Okay, so this is just in the client. Okay, well then, it's coming out on the 26th. That's pretty cool. So then, yeah, this is rough. This is a rough list. So I'm interested to see what people are going to do with this deck. Bengal Lancer the Resurgent is a good card. I don't know how easily you can make Bengal Lancer and Giantary. That's a tall order. But maybe this is the card that you make going first. It's fine, I guess. The Executor of the Underworld, Pluto. Let me talk about like the box overall for a second. So the ultra rares are all really good. I don't think there's a single miss in the ultra rares. These are all cards you want to play, so that's fantastic. Some of them are in like decks that are really popular. Some of them are in decks that are specifically for this box. This is what you want a main box to be. Super rares are all wins except for Court of Cards and El Shadal Shekinaga, which are like for random decks that doting like. I can understand like the Court of Cards had to come at some point, and it was like time restricted, but it's dumb to put it in this box, and I understand that it would be dumb to put in any box, but still, like this is just a random inclusion that no one's going to care about. And then El Shadal Shekinaga should go in a dedicated Shadal box. Another they should give Shadal's a mini box at this point, because Shadal's already had a main box. They don't need to dig into another main box for their deck, especially after they had to dig into a selection box for their deck. This is too much tax for a deck that is not that good. And I do understand that they gave them a really good skill, but still. Bengal Lancer the Resurgent is a surprise. So is Lone Fire Blossom. They really are pushing plants. I guess that's good. If Sun Avalon is going to work, it is going to be because they pushed all this plant support. But I still don't think, even with all this plant support, that it's going to work, because the strategy of Sun Avalon is just too bad. But we'll see. Obviously, the elephant in the room, Alomaris, is a rare. That is very bizarre to me. I do think this card is going to be better than people are saying it will be. I understand that in the real game, Almaris is just used as a way to get link material extensions, and we don't have any link monsters, so of course, card doesn't seem like it's necessarily going to be good, but its second effect is really, really strong, I think, in Duel Links, especially considering how powerful trap cards are in Duel Links. So I am thinking that Almaris is going to be an insane card. I am going to definitely play this card at 2 in my Trap Tricks deck, and I think I'll win games with it. So, if this card is just like a really good card, then the fact that it's a rare is fantastic. Alright, the Executor of the Underworld Pluto, level 5 Dark Fairy Synchro Monster, always treated as an agent, 2300 attack point, 0 defense points. Once per turn, you can banish one monster from your graveyard, target one effect monster on the field and change it to face down defense position. This is a quick effect if the Sanctuary of the Sky is on the field or in the graveyard. You can banish this card from your graveyard, add one the Sanctuary of the Sky from your deck or graveyard to your hand. Okay, cool, so there's another way to search the Sanctuary in the Sky, which means that, again, adding it to the deck from outside your deck is really, really good. The quick effects Book of Moon is good as well. I don't know how easy it's going to be to make a rank 5, or level 5, but should be fine, I think. This card will probably see play as a 1-of. Protector of the Agent's Moon. This is why we can play Link monsters in this deck. Requires 2 fairy monsters, and if this card is Link Summon, you can send one the Sanctuary in the Sky or one card that matches it from your deck to the graveyard. Or if the Sanctuary of the Sky is on the field or in the graveyard, you can add one the Agent of Mystery Earth from your deck or graveyard to your hand instead. That's good. You contribute one fairy monster, target one card your opponent controls, and destroy it. Also good. Alright, so this is a solid card. It has decent attack points. It's a searcher, it's a destroyer. It doesn't have any quick effects, but you'll probably link this off into something else. So, yeah, this card's fine. Trap Tricks Nepenthes. This card is unaffected by the effects of whole normal trap cards. If you activate a whole normal trap card except during the damage step, you can add to your hand or special summon one Trap Tricks monster from your deck except Nepenthes. You can only use each effect once per turn. So, you are definitely going to activate Trap cards, and this card will let you special summon a card like your Myrmelia from your deck, and Myrmelia will immediately pop one of your opponent's back row. Or you can special summon Dianea. Dianea will set the trap card that you just activated. So, good cards. Nepenthes probably going to see play because you can special summon it from your hand with a skill in defense position. Maybe a 2-of. Trap Tricks Genelisi, unaffected by the effects of whole normal traps. You contribute this card to set 2 whole normal traps with different names, one from your deck and one from your graveyard, but banish them when they leave the field. This card's fine. 2-of. Almaris requires 2 or more level 4 monsters. This card is unaffected by the effects of trap cards while it has Xyz material. You can only use each effect once per turn. You can attach 2 materials from this card to special summon one level 4 plant or insect monster from your graveyard. If an opponent's monster leaves the field because of your card effect and is now in the graveyard or banished, you can attach 1 material from this card, target one of them, and special summon it to your field. So that's really, really strong. You can bottomless trap hole your opponent's monster and then steal it, and that's what you should do. Play 3 copies of bottomless trap hole, play 2 copies of Almaris, and win the game. Sunvine Maiden. When your opponent activates a card effect that targets a plant monster you control that will special summon from the extra deck as a quick effect, you can special summon this card from your hand, and if you do, negate that effect. You can only use this effect once per turn. Your opponent cannot target Sun Avalon or Sunvine spells or traps you control with card effects. So Maiden is a quick play summon card that allows you to just negate your opponent's targeting effects. That's fine. It's searchable. Probably a 1-of and good protection. Sunseed Twin. If this card is normal or special summon while you control a Sun Avalon Link monster, you can target one level 4 or lower plant normal monster in your graveyard and special summon it. This card will allow you to bring back your Sunseed Genus Loci. You can banish this card in your graveyard and one Link monster you control. If you have 2 or more plant monsters with the same name as each other in your graveyard, special summon one of them. Okay, so you can banish one of your Link ones that you special summon from the effect of Dryas to special summon a Link 2 from your graveyard. That's fine. Sunsheet Shadow. If you control a plant normal monster, you can special summon this card from your hand. You can banish this card from your graveyard. Target one Link 2 or lower Sun Avalon or Sunvine monster you control. Special summon one monster with the same name from your extra deck but negate its effects. Also, you cannot special summon for the rest of this turn except plant monsters. Okay, so Shadow lets you basically clone one of your healers or Gardenas, so you can then use those 2 monsters as Link material to make a Link 2. It's really good. Noble Arms Excalibur. Okay, finally we get an equip spell for this deck. Equip only to a Noble Knight monster. It cannot be targeted by an opponent's card effects. During your turn, except the turn this card was sent to the graveyard, you can banish this card from your graveyard. Target one Noble Knight Xyz monster you control. Special summon from your extra deck one Noble Knight Xyz monster with a different name by using that target as Xyz material. The special summon is treated as an Xyz summon. Xyz materials attached to the becomes Xyz materials on this monster. You can only use this effect once per turn. Okay, so this is a rare because we're not playing Noble Knights anymore. We're playing Infernal Knights. Being able to equip this card from your deck with the Charles is good. You'll make it so that it can't be targeted, and that's all you care about. Alright, Infernobles, finally. Infernoble Knight Ogier, level 4 Fire Warrior. When this card is an equipped card, the equipped monster cannot be destroyed by card effects. You can only use each of the following effects of Infernoble Knight Ogier once per turn. If this card is normal or special summon, you can send one Noble Arms card or one Fire Warrior monster except Infernoble Knight Ogier from your deck to the graveyard. If this card is in your graveyard, you can target one Warrior monster you control and equip this card to that monster you control. Okay, so, yeah. You normal summon this card, you mill what you want in your graveyard, and then you can use the grave effect of that monster to basically equip it from the graveyard to one of your monsters. So this is a good starter. Infernoble Knight Captain Roland, level 5 Warrior Synchro Tuner monster. If this card is Synchro Summon, you can activate this effect. During the end phase of this turn, send one equipped spell from your deck to the graveyard, then add one Warrior monster from your deck to your hand. That's really good. During the main phase, if this card is in your graveyard, as a quick effect, you can target one Warrior monster you control, equip this card to that monster you control as an equipped spell that gives it 500 attack points. Okay, so this is an effect that you can activate during the during any point during the main phase, and then you could trigger your Roland's effect or your Charles's effect to destroy one of your opponent's cards, which is really, really strong. This is a great card to go into Charles because it's a level 5 tuner. That's what we want. So this card will probably see play at either 1 or 2, depending on how many copies of Charles you're playing. And for Noble Knight, Astolfo, level 1, 500 attack, 200 defense. You can banish one Fire Warrior from your hand or graveyard, special summon this card from your hand. Then you can make this card's level become the level of that banished monster. You can banish this card from your graveyard, special summon the banished card during the standby phase. After this effect is activated, then you can special summon one of your Fire Warrior monsters that is banished or in your graveyard. You can only use each effect of Infernoble Knight Astolfo once per duel. Okay, so Astolfo, since it's only once per duel, it's probably going to be a one-of. You can search it with other cards. Both these effects are pretty good. You can banish a Fire Warrior from your hand or graveyard and special summon this card from your hand to make it level 4. That's what you want to do. Yeah, I don't see any problems. You could technically actually target a level 8, and then you could use a level 1 tuner with Astolfo to make Charles. Is Gearfried level 8? The original Gearfried is level 8. Okay, that's interesting. So you could potentially play Gearfried in your Salamander and Phoenix skill, and then just like you could mill it with the Ogier, right? Hold on, I'm clicking. Alright, so you normal summon Ogier. Ogier effects, send Gearfried from your deck to the graveyard. Astolfo, banish Gearfried, special summon itself as a level 8. Then you can special summon your Renaud, and then Renaud plus Astolfo immediately makes Charles. Okay, that's cool. That's a cool little combo there for you guys. Flash Charge Dragon. Link 3 requires two or more dragon monsters. You cannot summon or set monsters to a zone this card points to. That is because it points forward all 3 times, and they don't want people to extra link. Once per turn, if a monster is normal or special summoned to a zone this card points to, except during the damage step, you can destroy one monster this card points to, and if you do, inflict 250 damage to your opponent. When a card effect is activated that targets this face-up card as a quick effect, you contribute one monster to negate the activation. That is not once per turn. Cool. So you can link summon Flash Charge Dragon to one of your extra monster zones, and if your opponent summons to the zone it points to, and it points to 2 of their 3 zones, then you get to destroy one monster this card points to and burn your opponent. That is a cool effect. I have no problems with this card. It is not good enough, but it is cool that we have it now. Fireflint Lady, level 1. If you control a warrior monster, you can special summon this card from your hand. You can send this card from the field to the graveyard, special summon one of your level 4 or lower warrior monsters from your hand, and if you do, your opponent cannot target with card effects this turn. Okay, So Fire Flint Lady basically can tag out for a level 4 warrior, basically give it the ability to special summon itself from the hand. That's fine. And then it goes to the graveyard, and you can use it as material in the graveyard somehow. So yeah, this is probably going to be like a 1 of, 2 of in Infernal Knights. It's good enough, and you can use it as link material. Exploder Rocket Dragon, let's go! Alright, you can normal summon this card with the skill. It's level 7, which means that you can toss it with the skill to draw your Ultra Rare. When a Link Monster's effect is activated that targets this card, you can destroy this card, then each player takes 1,000 damage. Great, this is going to be a great way to mess people up with Borrelsword. During the end phase, if this card is in the graveyard because it was destroyed on the field by battle or card effect doesn't set their turn, you can special summon 1 rocket monster from your deck, except Exploder Rocket Dragon. Okay, actually, it's important to note that since Borrelsword Dragon always deals 3,000 attack points to an attack position monster that it attacks, you can kill people with this combination. So you pop your Exploder Rocket, your opponent takes 1,000 damage, then you attack into any monster as long as it's in attack position. Borrelsword absorbs half its attack points, deals exactly 3,000 damage, and then your opponent dies, as long as they didn't gain life points, which admittedly, it's pretty rare for people to not gain life points these days. But, there you go. So, that's great synergy. The Exploder Rocket plus Borrelsword will be a killer. Play these 2 cards. Double Bite Dragon requires 2 Link monsters. It is linked to with 1,500 attack points. Gains attack equal to the combined Link ratings of monsters used for its Link Summon times 300. Okay, so if you link this card off by using 2 Link ones, it has 2,100 attack points. It's interesting. Unaffected by monster effects except Link monsters' effects, and cannot be destroyed by battle except by battle with a Link monster. Interesting. Okay, so it's unaffected by monster effects. Okay, interesting. So like if you made this with like 2 Link 4s, then this card would have like 3,900 attack points, and it would be unaffected by monster effects and cannot be destroyed by battle. That's kind of cool, actually. I might cook with this card. This is not a card that you guys should play, but it's like great content. I can make a deck around this card and I can post it as a video, and you guys will laugh. So expect to see Double Bite Dragon on some streams. That's good content. Infernal Arms Durandal. While this card is equipped to a monster, you can add 1 level 5 or lower Fire Warrior monster from your deck to your hand, then destroy this card. Side note. If I make videos with this card and I put like a big clickbait title where I'm just like, this is the best Link 2 in the game, this card's insane, you should play this card. Disclaimer, I am joking. Okay, so I will tell you right now, if I make content with this, it's just to get you to watch the video. Do not play this card, but I will play it. Okay. Infernal Arms Durandal. While this card is equipped to a monster, you can add 1 level 5 or lower Fire Warrior monster from your deck to your hand, then destroy this card. That's great. If this card is sent to the graveyard because the equipped monster was sent to the graveyard, you can target 1 level 5 or lower Warrior monster in your graveyard, special summon it. Also, you cannot special summon for the rest of the turn except Warrior monsters. Durandal is a good card. It's searchable. Play it at 1. It'll get you great cards. The Signum of Parshat. This card's name becomes the Sanctuary in the Sky while on the field or in the graveyard. This is a reprint. 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 Reprints. 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 Oh, I can just see the new. Okay, I'll skip all the. Okay. So, yeah, we got a lot of reprints down here, but we have still some new cards. Okay. The Agent of Destruction Venus. This is a level 3 tuner monster. You can banish 1, the Agent of Creation Venus from your graveyard, special summon this card. From your hand, you can pay life points in multiples of 500. Target 1 of your mystical shine balls that is banished from your graveyard for every 500 life points paid. Special summon them, but place them on the bottom of the deck when they leave the field. Okay, so this card is interesting. It lets you basically combine with your Agent of Creation Venus to double up the Link summoning. But we don't have any good fairy Link monsters, and the skill restricts us from using them. You can play just agents with no skill, and then link those cards off into a card like Rostaliger, for example. But I don't know how good that would be, so that's why this card is neutral rarity. It's probably not going to work very well without synergy with the skill, so I don't imagine this card's going to see too much play. But if you like the agents and you're experienced with the deck outside of Duel Links, then this card will probably be a card that you can really make good use of. Heavy Interlock, this card can be used to ritual summon a Borrelsword Riot Dragon. You must also retreat monsters from your hand or field or destroy rockets you control whose levels equal 8 or more. The monster special summoned by this effect cannot be destroyed by battle with a monster special summon from the extra deck and is unaffected by the activated effects of any monster special summon from the extra deck. Excuse me. Heavy Interlock is crazy. So you get to trigger your rocket effects. You get to you summon your Double Disruptor Dragon, bring back your Auto Rocket Dragon and your Exploder Rocket Dragon, destroy them both with the Heavy Interlock that you drew off of your Double Disruptor Dragon. Then you get to special summon 2 rockets from your deck at the end of the turn, and also your Borrelsword Riot Dragon that you special summon can't be destroyed by battle with monsters from the extra deck, summoned from the extra deck, and also is unaffected by monster effects from monsters special summoned from the extra deck. Neither of those effects can be negated because it is a lingering effect. So this is crazy good. Borrelsword Riot Dragon, probably one of the best cards that we could have gotten. It is my favorite ritual monster in the game, specifically because of the way Heavy Interlock works. And because you can summon it, you can search it off of pre-preparation rights, which a lot of the more powerful ritual monsters can't be because their ritual cards are too generic. So yeah, this is a card that I really look forward to. I really like it a lot. You can expect some Riot Dragons on my channel. The Chorus in the Sky. Pay 1,000 life points. Target one fairy monster in your graveyard and add to your hand. If the Sanctuary in the Sky is on the field or in the graveyard, you can add one to your banished, the Sanctuary in the Skies, or the card that mentions it to your hand. You can only activate one, the Chorus in the Sky, per turn. That is very specific, so I don't imagine it will make a deck slot. Trias Hierarchia. Oh, I've seen this card in so many Master Duel replays. This card is hilarious. During the main phase, if this card is in your hand or graveyard, as a quick effect, you contribute up to 3 fairy monsters. Special summon this card, then banish it when it leaves the field. Then you can apply the following effects in sequence depending on the number of tributed monsters. If there were at least 2, destroy 1 card your opponent controls. If you tributed 3, you can draw 3 cards. You can only use this effect once per turn. So Hierarchia is really, really powerful when it's combined specifically with Diviner of the Herald, which there's no way we have Diviner of the Herald in the game. So, yeah, this card. This card is absolutely crazy. If they ever give us this card, then they've given up, because that means that we're getting the Herald of Perfection, and the Herald of Ultimateness, which are like really, really powerful Omni Negate cards that just never lose. So if we ever get Diviner of the Herald, then it's funny that this card is a neutral rarity card, and you'll be able to go like, oh, look at this card that I got from the Borrel box like 2 years ago. Otherwise, I mean, I don't think this card is going to see any play at all without Diviner of the Herald in the game. Trap Tricks Vesiculo. Unaffected by the effects of whole normal traps, you can only use one of the following effects per turn, only once that turn. You can send one set spell or trap you control to the graveyard, special summon this card from your hand. If you control no cards in your spell or trap zone, you can banish this card from your graveyard, target one of your whole normal traps, and set it on the field. It is too easy to special summon Dianea with your Gentle EC, or not your Gentle EC, your Nepenthes. So you don't need Vesiculo's either of its effects, because the first effect is covered by the skill. So yeah, this card is not going to see any play in Duel Links, which is kind of sad. Time Space Trap Hole. When your opponent special summons one monster from the extra deck or the hand, shuffle that monster into the deck, then you lose 1,000 life points for each return monster. That's really good. 1,000 life points is a pretty hefty cost in this game, but being able to shuffle a monster back into the deck is really, really powerful. Yeah, this card will see plenty of play, and you'll have fun with it. It's cool that we're getting a new Trap Hole card. I was looking for one, and I didn't see one anywhere else. I kind of hoped that it would be Gravediggers, but Time Space is another good one. Thunderclap Skywolf. Thunder Light level 7. If this card is special summoned from the graveyard, you can destroy all face-up monsters your opponent controls. You cannot conduct your battle phase the turn you activate this effect. That is terrible. Why is this card in the game? Sunvine Healer. If a Sun Avalon Link monster you control leaves the field by card effect, destroy this card. If this card is special summoned, you can target one Sun Avalon Link monster on the field and gain life points equal to its Link rating times 300. When your Plant Link monster inflicts battle damage to your opponent, you can gain 600 life points. This is a cool effect. This card will see play probably from the skill, I imagine. I haven't looked at the skill yet, but I imagine the skill is going to give us more copies of this card, so yeah, this card's good. Gardna. If a Sun Avalon Link monster you control leaves the field by card effect, destroy this card. When an attack is declared involving this card linked to a Sun Avalon Link monster and an opponent's monster, you can activate this effect. The damage you take from that battle is halved. When this card is destroyed by battle, end the battle phase. Okay. It's interesting that this card is just a neutral rarity card in the box. They don't typically like cards that end the battle phase because they end the turn. But okay, this is fine. Sunseed Genus Loci. You will play this card because it is required to make your Dryas. Dry Gnome. This card cannot be targeted for attacks, but does not prevent your opponent from attacking you directly. 3 times per turn if you take battle or effect damage, you can gain that much life points, and if you do, special summon 1 Sunmine monster from your extra deck. Once per turn, when a monster that this card points to is targeted for an attack, you can negate the attack, and if you do, move that monster to another zone. So, Dry Gnome is a cool card, but the skill kind of pushes you through Dry Gnome up to Dry Entrentier, so you probably won't play this card too much, but it will be in your deck. Dry Days, 2 plant monsters, including a Sun Avalon Link monster. This card cannot be targeted for attacks, but does not prevent your opponent from attacking you directly. Twice per turn, if you take battle or effect damage, you can gain that much life points, and if you do, special summon 1 Sunmine monster from your extra deck. Great, so another way to just link up. You will play 1 copy of this card. Neshadal Genius. Flip effect, you can target 1 Shadal monster you control. That face-up monster is unaffected by monster effects this turn except for its own. If this card is sent to the graveyard by card effect, you can target 1 effect monster on the field. That player can activate that target's effects on the turn. You can only use 1 effect per turn, only once that turn. Okay. Both these effects are pretty useful during your opponent's turn, so I can see this card being added to a Shadal deck as a one-off EC just mill it. Melee of the Trees. Rank 3 Plant Xyz monster, 2 level 3 Earth monsters. Once per turn, you can detach 1 material from this card, activate 1 of these effects. Send 1 plant-type monster from your deck to the graveyard, target 1 plant monster in your graveyard, and special summon it in defense position. I do not know what level 3 you are going to play in plants. I guess this is for the Tomato deck. This card is not good because Trap Tricks are level 4. Link's Turret. Oh, this is a funny card. This card was used by Revolver a lot. When this card is activated, place 4 counters on this card each time you take battle or effect damage. Each time you take battle damage, place 1 counter on this card. At the end of your battle phase, you can remove 1 counter from this card, target 1 rocket monster in your graveyard, special summon it, but its effects are negated. Also, it is banished when it leaves the field. You cannot special summon monsters from the extra deck except Dark Link monsters the turn you activate this effect, even if this card leaves the field. So obviously this card is a lot less good because its effect activates during the end of the battle phase. But still, getting rockets on your field so that you can target them with your Borrelsword Dragon and trigger their effects is not terrible. Maybe played as a one-of if you're playing Borrelsword, and otherwise don't. Link back, target 1 Link monster you control in the extra monster zone, move that monster you control to your main monster zone it points to, then you can send cards from the top of your deck to the graveyard equal to its Link rating. That's a cool idea. It basically frees up your extra monster zone. Might see play in Sky Strikers, actually. But probably not. Lindbloom Worm monster, level 4 Earth. If a monster you control battles an opponent's monster during damage calculation, the attack of each monster in that battle becomes equal to their current defense until the end of the damage step. 0 attack, 1800 defense. That's funny. Again, that's a card that you might like randomly see me make content of, but otherwise don't play it. And for Noble Knight, Magus. Level 4, while this card is an equipped card, the equipped monster cannot be destroyed by battle. If this card is sent to the graveyard, you can shuffle it into the deck, 3 of your other Fire Warrior monsters, and then draw 1 card. That's cool. If this card is in your graveyard, you can target 1 warrior monster you control and equip that monster to this card. Or equip that card to this monster. And for Noble Knight Captain Oliver, this is a level 5 Warrior Synchro that is not a tuner, so it's not good. When this card declares an attack while equipped, you can target 1 face-up card on the field and destroy it. During the main phase, except the turn this card was sent to the graveyard, you can target 1 warrior monster you control, special summon this card from your graveyard as a tuner, and if you do, equip that monster you control to this card as an equipped spell that gives it 500 attack points. Okay, that's not terrible. You do get to like basically go into another Charles afterwards. That's really slow. If you like Infernoble Knights, probably play this as a one-of, because it's kind of a cool way to get Charles the second time. But, I mean, the artwork looks great, but probably not. Horn of Oliphant. Activate one of these effects, banish one equipped spell you control in your graveyard, and then you can destroy one card on the field, or destroy one Roland monster you control, special summon from defense position, up to 3 Fire Warrior monsters from your deck whose total levels equal 9, but their effects are negated. Also, until the end of your next turn after this effect resolves, you cannot special summon except warriors. Okay, so Horn of the Elephant lets you basically get 3 level 4s from your 2 level 4s, 1 level 1 from your deck all at the same time, so you can immediately go into Charles. So if you're bad at Infernal Knights, play this card. Because then you can just get your Charles without thinking about it. The deck does require a lot of like specific combos, so possibly this card could see some play, but I don't think so. Execute Protocols. Continuous trap card. During each battle phase, you can banish one Dark Link monster from your graveyard. Then target one Boral monster you control until the end of the turn. It gains attack boost to the attack of the monster banished by this effect to activate this effect. Huh. I've never seen this card. This is bad. Deep Dark Trap Hole. When a level 5 or higher effect monster is special summoned, banish that level 5 or higher effect monster. This is a good card to play. You can play this as a 1-of in your Trap Tricks deck, and then just trigger it off of Rafflesia. Banishing effect monsters is really good. Obviously, it shows Goyo Guardian, so they probably released this card specifically to deal with powerful synchro monsters, and it's definitely a good way to deal with powerful synchro monsters. It doesn't target either. Choban Armor Dragon. When your opponent's monster declares a direct attack, you can special summon this card from your hand in attack position. If you do, for the rest of this turn, it cannot be destroyed by battle, and the battle damage you take from battles involving this card is halved. But it has 0 attack points. That's not that good of an effect. If this card is sent to the graveyard as link material, you can target one other dark monster in your graveyard and add it to your hand. Also, your opponent can add one monster from their graveyard to their hand. No. Never play this card. Celestial Night Lord Parshath. I'm surprised this card is in the box. I would have expected it to be an SR if it was in the box. Link 3 requires 2 or more fairy monsters. You can discard this card, add one Sanctuary in the Sky, or one card that specifically lists it from your deck to your hand. Or if the Sanctuary of the Sky is already on the field, you can add a fairy monster instead. That's really good. If another face-up fairy monster you control is sent to the graveyard, you can banish one fairy monster from your graveyard, special summon one fairy monster from your hand, whose level is higher than the banished monsters. You can only use each effect once per turn. So this card is just a good card to link into from your Protector of the Moon, and it's fine. Break Off Trap Hole. When a link monster is linked summon, destroy all monsters on the field that are not linked. Okay, well, we don't have Trap Tricks link monsters. We can't link summon. They specifically prevent us from link summoning, so this card will not see any play. Bow Baboon. Level 3 Dark Plant Monster. If this card is normal special summon, you can draw one card. Then place one card from your hand on either the top or the bottom of your deck. If this card is destroyed by battle or card fake, you can special summon any number of Bow Baboons from your deck. And that's funny. Why is this a plant? It's a monkey inside of a plant suit. Okay. That's funny. I guess the idea is that your Bow Baboon gets destroyed, and then you special summon 2, and then you exceeds them into melee of the tree. No. Ancient Tree of Enlightenment. Infernal Arms Joyous. While this card is equipped to a monster, you can target one Fire Warrior monster in your graveyard, add to your hand, then destroy this card. If this card was sent to the graveyard because the equipped monster was sent to the graveyard, you special summon one Fire Warrior monster from your hand. Okay, so this is basically similar to Durandal, except it's only in the graveyard, which is not as good, so don't play it. How to Clear. While this card is equipped to a monster, you can target one face-up monster you control. This turn, you cannot declare attacks with other monsters. Also, it can make a second attack during each battle phase and destroy this card. If this card is sent to the graveyard because the equipped card was sent to the graveyard, you can target one face-up monster on the field and destroy it. Both those effects are bad. And that's it. Okay, so box. Box is good. Go in the box. Get your good cards. It looks like Cyber Sages and Underclock Taker are like the only cards that are like supporting the Firewall deck, which is kind of sad. Like that, there's this tax. But I mean, this card is insane, so I can understand it being like a main box UR. So sorry to the Firewall players. You will have to go into this box for this one copy of this one card. But it's fine, because you'll pick up some other good cards like Borrelsword Dragon and Lone Fire Blossom, so don't regret going into this box. But, as far as 3-ofs, Agent of Life Neptune, Trap Tricks Marmelio, Lone Fire Blossom, and Heritage of the Chalice. 2-ofs, Mantis is a 3 of. Charles might be a 2 of. And Hyperion is either 2 or 3 of. And then Sacred Water in the Sky is 3 of. Yeah, that's not too bad. There are plenty of 1 ofs like Bengal Lancer, Dryand Trentier, and Shekinaga is like a harder one to determine. So yeah, there's not too much text in this box. It's a cool box. I think you guys will enjoy it. My name is Serafi, and I was thrilled to have all of you with me.